Okay, everyone, IBOs from around the world, we want to thank you so much for joining us for our third weekly webinar, live Zoom with our amazing trading partners there at FXB. We've got Alex Morrison on the line, and we're going to go
Hi
ahead and
guys, hi everybody.
over. Thanks, my friend.
Thanks for having me again. Hi everybody. Hi your family all over the world. Well, a little bit of an introduction. I don't know how many traders have been with us or how many traders are new. We're going to be posting a video within the next few days or so in regards to the results of last month, which exceeded our expectations. So quite happy for that. I just noticed I don't have give me a second. Let's see if this works. Yeah.
We see you,
Awesome.
my friend.
Okay, great. I wasn't sure. Yeah, and more than fair, I was actually hoping Stefanos would be able to join us as well, but unfortunately he's traveling again this week. Next week we'll be able, if you guys want, we'll be able to have more of an in-depth session. Maybe we can sort out a live trading session or a live charting session in which we could share our ideas with you guys and see exactly how we actually come up with certain decisions in regards to certain assets. But if there's any questions from your side, I would be more than happy to of course answer.
Yeah,
go ahead and to our project.
If anybody has questions, you can go ahead and just throw it in the Groom chat, and then we can just go over that as we go. And in the meantime, just anything you want to touch base on, Alex, go right ahead.
Absolutely. Well, as you already know that we from before, we are combining two trading strategies. As you know from my past and my present as well, I've got a hedge fund in which we focus on supply and demand, microeconomic supply and demand imbalance trades from a longer term perspective, taking a lot of hedges as well. And as I said, and you guys already know and witnessed, we combine that with a more of a high frequency trading program, which has been already offered before I joined on board, in order for us to find a more, let's say, I mentioned before in the last webinar, to diversify our portfolio as well, and of course to find more opportunities from not only a longer term perspective and a lower risk perspective, but also from a high frequency perspective on a day-to-day basis on day trades. As you know, that accumulates volume in regards to your upline. Of course, that's what's needed by the upline. And also we hope to keep generating the profits on a monthly basis in regards to, of course, keeping the clients happy as well. So we're trying to have a little bit of best of both worlds in a sense, and try to cater to everyone's needs. The downline needs to be happy, and of course the main goal is for the client to be happy. So
that's excellent. And I had a question for you, Alex.
Yeah.
If someone's on here and it's their first time, they've never done any trading, but they've gotten to see the results that we've been able to produce over the last few months, which have been really nice. What kind of advice would you give to someone as far as what sort of what should they?
It's funny, actually. Next week, I'm preparing an interview with one of the trading communities that I'm an ambassador for, and the interview is based on trading tips. It's funny that you're asking me that question. I have to produce about 10 of them. I only have a few. I have one main rule when I trade it. It's always plan your trade and trade your plan. That's a very, very important factor. Whoever's, of course, coming into the markets, we can already assess, and I'm sure we can all agree that trading is not, just one of the most difficult, let's say, professions known to man. But it also influences your personal life, because you're always one way or the other onto the market, regardless of what you do throughout the day. Of course, the balance between trading and personal life always has to be there. But in order to succeed as a trader, you definitely need to be passionate on it. You have to absolutely love and adore it. And most importantly, you need to have very, very specific rules of entry. And as important as your strategy is, of course, money management as well. So these two particular things need to be spot on, need to be tested for many, many years. And once you've developed your own trading style, or you've understood that you could follow someone out there that already has the trading results, and your personality pretty much fits and matches, you could, of course, go ahead and and get a mentorship program from that particular person, and try to take advantage of market opportunities as a trader. But nonetheless, it's not. I'm not one of those guys that you see on Instagram that I'm going to tell, yeah, everybody follow me up and I'll give you signals and you'll be driving Ferraris in a month, because I've been I've been trading for almost 2 decades now, and that's absolutely not the fact. You won't get a Ferrari in a month. You probably would. I mean, there's a lot of people that did, but there's a lot of people that also lost their house in the meantime. So I always look on market opportunities from a risk perspective first, what my risk appetite is, what I'm willing to risk in order for me to achieve a certain result. And of course, I never risk 3 to make 1. I always try to, risk 1 and make 3. But of course, it has to do with self-discipline, and it has to, like I said in the beginning, always plan your trade and trade your plan. Never ever deviate from your plan. You will incur losses and wins, but in the long run, if your strategy is it's a strong strategy that you can rely on, you will be, of course, profitable. By far the best advice that I can give is always try to think. I have a program, webinar called Think Like a Bank and Trade Like a Bank with Alex Morrison, and I think the message that I'm trying to deliver is pretty much in the name. The reason that markets are going up and down, regardless of the market, be it stock market, cryptocurrencies, or foreign exchange pairs, or whatever it may be, they're driven by the main and core rules of supply and demand. And all the institutions are driven in their decisions of trading based on these particular ratios. So if you're looking for something proper and sustainable, then of course you could look into microeconomical models of price determination, like supply and demand, and many others as well, which give you the possibility to look at the market from a slightly longer term perspective, rather than trying to make a quick buck every day.
Right. And I think that profitable and sustainable is just the key there. It's
absolutely.
It's still surprising how many people out there who maybe they just don't understand, but they're looking to double their money in a month, or make.
No, absolutely, under any circumstances. No. That's when you're trading the financial market, that's not the case. There's a lot of people, as I said before, that done that, but again, you could do that by going to the casino at the same time, right? Double your investment. So that's not our goals here. I saw in the chat there's someone that says, from previous calls, I understood that the traders have daily goals. So why are we surprised by results? We don't have daily goals. We do, of course, target. In regards to risk money management, we try to basically risk only 2.5% on a weekly basis, and we do have certain daily targets. Nonetheless, our actual goals are set on a month-to-month basis, and it wasn't a surprise in a sense. It was a good surprise. We received slightly more volatility than we were expecting, and we actually passed our monthly goal for this month. I've been asked not to make that number public, so you guys can do whatever you prefer with those numbers. You already know them. Nonetheless, yes, it was a great result. Absolutely, and we're looking forward to next month. Definitely still looking forward for 2020. I know that I keep going on about it pretty much in every webinar, but I strongly believe it's going to be a big year.
That's awesome. Very awesome. Is there anyone else out there that has a special question or anything interesting that you'd like to know and ask Alex while he's on? Go ahead and just type it in the Zoom.
We shall see. It's within the next, what time is it for me now? 7:20, so at 9 p.m. within the next hour and 40 minutes, we've got a Federal Reserve interest rate decision, so the market should be expecting some volatility, depending. Nonetheless, I still believe that the rate's going to stay unchanged, of course, but it's all in the message, in the reading between the lines, in a sense, in regards to what the future may bring. Who knows? With the GDP data that the United States have been seeing lately, I wouldn't exclude a rate cut at some point in the future. Imagine what gold would do. Nonetheless, 1 hour and 40 minutes, I'll be on the charts. I'll be on the charts for a couple hours. Just watch the Fed, read the report, and see exactly how the markets are influenced. But yeah, it's a big event.
That's really nice.
I think we have. There's a question from Fabrizio. Currently, at least at the multi-trading backend goes, can we expect an update on any time soon to be able to see a more detailed report as far as what assets FXB was trading Absolutely. We have they have a my FXbook link on the accounts that we've got under management. You can ask for those links from your upline. They already have access to them. It's their own links. So and we're very transparent in there. So you'd be able to check all the results, what we trade, why, when, and so on and so forth. And as I said before, we'll be trying to every month. We're going to start now. We're going to be uploading short video, 5-10 minutes, in regards to presenting the results on a month-to-month basis, and also giving a little bit of an explanation on why we took those trades and what our targets were, and so on and so forth. But definitely, you could follow up through the MyFXbook links, because it's connected with an EA, and it updates the data every 5 minutes. So yeah, it's very transparent. No worries at all. Yes, I definitely trade oil. As a matter of fact, I'm a commodity trader. Professionally speaking, the MLM project that you guys are doing, I'm simply an outsourced trader. As I said before, trying to assess the markets from a longer term perspective. But I am a commodity trader. I have a commodity hedge fund here in Cyprus. We do trade oil, but we mainly focus on gold, silver, and platinum. We short futures contracts with big European brokers, and at the same exact time, we buy the physical with a variety of bullion houses, so we don't expose ourselves at a lot of risk, and we basically close positions accordingly, either by adding on to the physical or by adding on to the future shorts, depending on what the market dictates. So yeah, absolutely, commodities is my first true love, and it's always going to stay like that. As a matter of fact, we had a couple of we had an awesome oil daily supply zone short just last week. We just closed the trade, I think 3 days ago, if I'm not mistaken, 2 days ago. Marvelous trade, 120, 130 pips, I think, with a very small drawdown. As a matter of fact, the drawdown was absolutely nil. But in case the market did go against us, I think it was a 1-to-4 or 1-to-4.5 risk-reward ratio trade. It was a good one, absolutely.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Any other questions, friends out there? Hello, Darren. Welcome. Really looking forward to next week there, Alex, when we can maybe do some live trading analysis or things like that.
Absolutely. I don't know if we're going to have any trades live going on. I mean, it would be great if we have any levels getting approached. But it would help if you check my Instagram channel or my YouTube channel on supply and demand trades. It'll give you a simple and basic understanding on what exactly it is. But what we try to achieve next week, hopefully Stefanos is going to be available as well, and I think he will be. I want us to sit down for a little bit more than 15 minutes. We'll be able to access Zoom over our PCs and actually share this screen with you guys. And we'll be able to pull a couple of charts. If you guys are traders, or if you're looking at any assets in particular, you can feel free to let us know, and I'll be able to chart them in front of you. Just to let you know, I trade 2 different sequences, and the biggest time frame sequence, the biggest time frame chooses the direction of the trade. So I trade 6 months, 3 months, and monthly charts, which I take entries on a monthly chart, and I trade monthly, weekly, and daily charts as well, which provide me entries with daily. Very rarely I'm going to be trading weekly, daily, and 4-hour sequence, in which of course I'll be taking a trade on a 4-hour chart. That would be something if I would be looking for a swing trade. It would be going for 2-3 days. For example, the oil trade, as a matter of fact, that was a weekly, daily, 4-hour sequence, and we took the entry on a daily. So you don't be expecting anything on a fast thing. Oh, okay, we opened the chart. There's EURUSD. There he goes. Click buy. That's not what we do. We always look at pending orders to get filled in. We always look at pending orders on levels in which we know as a fact by analyzing the CFTC data, because we do analyze the commitment of traders reports from the States that comes out every Tuesday, and we basically analyze the institutional positions as well to see where where pending orders, where institutions are closing portions of their trades, where stop losses or take profits are hit, and so on. So we always try to combine the CFTC report with our supplier demand imbalance zones, or supply and demand actual zones, prior of us placing our pending orders. So most of our trades are pretty much done on a pending order, unless it's a shorter term trade and the level in which the trade was activated for is still very, in close range, that we probably may take it. But most of the trades are pending orders, buy limits, sell limits, buy stops, and sell stops.
Excellent. Alex, I just pasted in the chat your Instagram channel. I think that's the correct one.
Yeah.
And it also has.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, great. And it has a link to your YouTube on there as well. So if everybody.
I believe it does. Yes.
Great. Go ahead and add that. That's wonderful. I didn't know about that. So I'll follow you as well.
Cool stuff. Awesome. I think I've placed an Omnia welcome video with a very short in my word. I think it was a 25-minute video. I'm not sure. About 2 months ago, right in the beginning, and I also charted Bitcoin. I don't know if you guys have access to that video. It would help to watch it, because looking at where the price of the Bitcoin is now, and if you watch that video, seeing exactly what I was saying in there, that's exactly what I was talking about when it comes to supply and demand. And happily, we clearly see, because so far the past year or so, up to last year or so, it was, and it still is, of course, a very volatile market, of course, the cryptocurrency markets. So we didn't really have real supply or real demand zones in which we would be able to base our trades upon. But I'm happy to actually see some clear zones, actual zones being formed and respected as well. So I'm happy to see the microeconomics finally, impacts the price. Because in the end of the day, it works on any asset. Nonetheless, of course, it took some time with Bitcoin, simply because of either over-the-counter transactions, and there's a lot of them going out there, and also a lot of transactions with cold storage in which the market is not affected. So there's a lot of other things to be taken into consideration when trading cryptos. But nonetheless, it's good to see where Bitcoin is at the moment, comparing to a couple months ago, of course. Let's see where 2020 takes it. As I said, it's going to be a very interesting year for all of us, regardless of what you trade, be it foreign exchange, cryptos, commodities, which, come on, to be fair, commodities still are the only real tangible assets when it comes to trading the markets themselves. So, I strongly believe it's going to be a volatile year next year for all assets.
What are your thoughts on altcoins? Do you think there's room for those in the future? Do you think that I'd just like to hear your opinion on it as a trader.
In regards to which coin?
Any of the alternative coins.
Any of the coins.
You believe?
Listen, I'm more into the technology itself, the blockchain technology itself. Obviously, that's definitely something to look into. I mentioned before as well in regards to long-term, investments to look for. If you're not a trader, look into AI, artificial intelligence companies, startups. Is the next big thing. Of course, VR is kind of taking a backseat, but it's still out there, and I think they're going to take a big leap throughout the next, let's say, half a decade, throughout the next 5 years, as well. When it comes to cryptos themselves, the coins themselves, I'm still not sold on the actual coins themselves, because in the end of the day, we still don't really have. Of course, we do, but not. We don't have full, let's say, spending access on them. We can't really use them in circulation, except a few things. But the technology behind it is absolutely marvelous. So I'm not saying no to that. Of course, cryptos are here to stay. I mean, everybody can agree with that. It all depends on what's going to happen within the near future. I'm not looking at Bitcoin as much as I'm looking, let's say, at Ethereum or Ripple, for example. But of course, Papa Bitcoin always pretty much paves the way. But for example, from a charting perspective, if you look at a Bitcoin dollar ratio right now, it's in a weekly demand zone, is in control, and that's why we had those longs happen between 3,600 to around 4,700 bucks a pop. And on the other hand, Ethereum is actually in a downtrend with weekly supply zone in control. So they're not incredibly correlated, put it that way. Nonetheless, as I said, we don't really care in regards to where the market's going from that perspective, because we trade futures or CFDs, so we can sell or buy an asset regardless of the trend. So we're more interested to catch the trend regardless of where the trend is, rather than speculating if it's going to go up or if it's going to get down. For example, when I trade gold or silver in the hedge fund, for example, then yes, I'm extremely interested in regards to how long it's going to take for price to reach a certain target in order for me to be able to manage my risk. But when you're trading CFDs, contract for difference, you don't really care because you're not in a hedged position. You could be, but not always. And so from that perspective, if you're in a downtrend, you can take advantage of sell opportunities. Of course, in an uptrend, you can take advantage of buy opportunities. So as long as you catch the trend and your signals and entries are spot on, then it doesn't really matter the trend that you're in.
Well, as promised, we're going to get you off of here in the next couple minutes since we kept you on so long last week.
No worries at all.
If anybody has a last minute question, please go ahead and post it. In the meantime, I'm going to ask something just out of my own curiosity because it's something we haven't touched base on. You just mentioned gold, so precious metals. What are your thoughts on the future of precious metals? And, we just made a post on our social media page about gold being undervalued. Do you agree about that? And
as a matter of fact, yes, I do. I definitely agree that gold is undervalued. It's not as much as gold being undervalued. It's not gold per se as being undervalued, but of course, when you look at the geopolitical situation around the world right now, it's not a lot from the perspective of raising in value, but I'm looking more importantly on to silver. A very, very important and a very, very interesting fact with silver is that if you look at it logically, you have less of it to be mined out than gold. You have much more gold underground than silver. So silver is more rare. And within industries, silver is more used. End of the story. They use it in many, many more industries than they use in gold. So from a perspective of supply and demand, on the actual economical scale, silver against gold should be right now it's on a 7-to-1 ratio. So it's in value. So silver is something that I'm really, really looking into in regards to being an undervalued asset. But commodities, absolutely. I am a strong gold buyer for a long time. But again, that's why when we're looking in a longer term perspective, and that's why I would like to remind you that's exactly why I buy the physical and I sell the futures at the same price. Or I actually look for because I'm in an uptrend in the long term right now. From a 6 months, 3 months, monthly perspective, we're in an uptrend. On a monthly, weekly, daily perspective, we're actually in a downtrend. We made some good bucks on gold, shorting it in the beginning of the month, buying it, longing it in the beginning of the month, and then shorting it towards the end. Nonetheless, when you're looking at it as a long-term perspective, if you want to hold the physical, of course, that's great. And if you can afford that, if not, the best advice that I have, you're looking into shorting opportunities as a future contract, as a CFD contract, and of course, buying the physical to hedge yourself. So regardless of where the market's going, of course, you having your stop loss take profit ratios. I'll give you a very simple example. If you choose, let's say if you're in a monthly down, weekly down, daily down, according to the strategy, you would say that you would be selling on a daily or a new formed 4-hour supply zone. So let's pretend that we have a 4-hour or a daily supply zone upon us and we're ready to sell it. It doesn't mean that particular 4-hour daily supply zone will actually be respected. Once that gets reached, maybe institutions and banks will still wish to have their orders filled in because it makes total sense. Maybe something happened in the world. Maybe President Trump came out and said something about the China trade war or whatever may happen. And that particular supply zone will now be broken and not respected. Then that's exactly why I like to hedge myself. So whenever I have a daily supply zone and I'm looking into shorting the market as a CFD at the same exact price, as I said, I buy the physical. So base case scenario, of course, my daily supply zone gets respected. Into short term, I'm making money on the CFD contract. I can hold the physical for as long as I want without paying any fees or whatever else. Once the market retracts, I either keep my physical and I continue making profit in it, or I close it at zero and I net the profit that I just made in the future. Worst case scenario would be that the supply zone won't be respected. The market will, drive through it. You will hit your stop loss, let's say $25, $25,000 or 2.5, whatever your risk is. But at the same time, because you purchased physical with a bullion house, all you need to do is simply close your physical position, meaning sell your gold back to the market, withdraw your money from the bullion house, and simply replace it into your futures account. So, you haven't actually realized any losses on that. There's of course many other ways in assessing and managing your risk and reward ratio, but in regards to what I just said, it's by far the most simple way of protecting your commodity if you're a long-term commodity buyer like myself.
That's wonderful. We appreciate you so much, Alex, and just
more than a pleasure.
You really bring so much to this company, and
thank you.
This really enhances us, and it's been so educational. So beyond that, this is growth for all of us. So we really do appreciate it. And
thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Build for this.
Absolutely. Let's plan it, guys. I mean, if it is, let's catch up on Monday. I guess we'll talk to Steph as well and to the upline. And if you guys have the time to make like a maybe half hour or 45-minute video, then we might be able to sit down and chart it. If not, we can plan one for a specific date, and we can just do an extra video for as a webinar. And people, as I said, people can just relate to us the assets that they're trading or they're interested in, and we'll be able to chart them on the spot and give them hopefully trade opportunities for the future on those assets.
Excellent. And if it's not live, I can join you and record it and send it out to
Yeah, absolutely. We could definitely do that too. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much once again for having me, guys.
Thank you, my friend.
And I'll talk to you next week.
Excellent. Bye, Alex.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, family. Thank you so much for everybody joining us. And as we said, next week we'll really build for a nice meeting with Stefanos, and it'll be special since it's the final of our 4-part series. And then after that, we'll resume probably bi-weekly or monthly meetings. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you, everybody, for being on. I will get this recording downloaded and uploaded into the media gallery just as soon as possible. Until next time, see you, my friends.